Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. Well, we're still here. The world is, okay? Nothing's crazy happened yet. Even after yesterday, last night for us, but during the day for them, where we heard stories out of Iran that they were going to cause a huge surprise that was going to be remembered for centuries. Okay. Idle threats from idle minds, I guess, if you will. We don't know exactly what's going on in Iran other than they are losing to Israel quickly. Fine, good, don't care, okay? Get rid of the terrorist regime, put the Shah's son back in power, if you will, the former royal family, and let's go on with life. You know, you got another 86-year-old mental patient running the country in Iran right now. I mean, they've got their own version of Joe Biden, you know, somebody who's not all there upstairs. But it's getting more and more tense, I guess is a good word for it. Because Iran is back on their heels. I mean, they're evacuating parts of Tehran because the IDF is saying, we're going in to destroy this area tonight. You might want to leave. At least in that respect, they're letting the civilians know, move first. Okay. We've seen leader after leader in the leadership structure of the Iranian government disappeared, unalived, whatever you want to call them. You know, we had the leader of the military taken out, and then his replacement met the same fate 5 days later. Okay. It's not like this is going willy-nilly into Iran. This is surgical, is what they're doing, trying to get rid of the nuclear capabilities and the military infrastructure of the country. And hopefully, as I've said a couple of times, the people of Iran say, enough already with this Islamic lunacy leadership. Let's go back to the way we were 45 years ago, you know, before the Shah was overthrown, you know, where Iran was a civilized country, not a bunch of heathens running around like it is now, at least in control. The worry comes in to, well, I won't even say worry, but what's going on right now, you should take notice of. Because while the U.S. is not involved, in order to complete the mission, we're the only ones that have the equipment to do it, okay? Iran's main nuclear research area, if you will, is deep, 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 deep underground. And Israel does not possess the armament to take out those deep underground facilities. They don't have bunker buster bombs. We do, okay? They don't have Moab's mother of all bombs. We do. So you start looking at going, are we going to wind up involved in this? And again, I'm going to say, I hope not. However, the signs right now are we might be getting in. Last night, you had 4 Stratofortresses, these are the big bombers, take off from Diego Garcia Airport, 4 all at once, heading toward the Middle East. We had 30, I kid you not here, 30 refueling tankers take off from the U.S. all over the place, heading to the Middle East. That's getting involved, okay? We've got all these super tankers to refuel airplanes. That's what I'm talking, so KC-135s, et cetera, that can refuel the Israeli Air Force. Israel already has air superiority over Iran, but they only have 7 refueling tankers. So that means at any given time, there's only 7 planes flying over Iran that can refuel midair. We send more, okay, now you're getting squadron size refueling at a given time. The downside is, of course, they still have to land sometime because you've got to rearm them. Okay, it's not like you've got refueling tankers coming in going, oh, okay, you know what, here's another bomb to drop, or here's more rounds of ammunition or whatever to fire. That's got to happen too. But to patrol the skies, they need the fuel. And those are coming from the U.S. Iran has already said that if the U.S. gets involved, and this would be considered getting involved, because Iran is already saying us assisting with Israel shooting down incoming ballistic missiles sent from Iran is us getting involved. That's maybe an idle threat. This would be obvious. Iran has said they are going to target military bases. They have talked about mining the Straits of Hormuz. Just to give you an idea what that would do, any U.S. Navy ships that we have in the Persian Gulf would be pinned in, okay? Because you take a battleship, you take a carrier, and it hits a mine, you go, the Nimitz is going, right? And you sink the Nimitz, that's an act of war. Okay, we're just going to put it that way. Those are the challenges that we're seeing right now. Those are the ones that the media is talking about right now. That, oh, it's going to be a military conflict. They're going to attack bases, they're going to attack the Gulf, whatever it would be. But Iran's little thing of something that's going to be talked about for centuries. Nobody's going to talk about for centuries hitting a base in Saudi Arabia or Iraq or something like that. Nobody'd even talk about for centuries sinking a U.S. ship. I mean, honestly, how many times does it come up in conversation anymore about the USS Cole? Okay, go back a while now, and the U.S. ship being sabotaged, I guess to put it, in Yemen. Okay. My bigger concern is Iran's claim to fame, the world's greatest state sponsor of terrorism. Who's to say we don't have another 9/11 or another Oklahoma City? Doesn't have to be huge. Doesn't have to be jets flying into planes. It could be a U-Haul truck with fertilizer. Do you put it past Iran? I sure don't. Okay. It's not like we haven't let in a whole bunch of unvetted people into the United States in the first place. They're already here. By no means am I saying to anybody walk around scared. None. Okay. But what I will say, as I've said over and over and over again, and this should be, everybody should do this anyway. Head on a swivel, pay attention to your surroundings, get your nose out of your phone. When you're walking around, pay attention. Watch the drivers. Is somebody doing something stupid? Get away, okay? Is somebody look like they don't belong in the situation? It's 85 degrees and this guy's got an overcoat on. All those little things. Your spidey sense, your sixth sense will go off and go, that doesn't look right. Something's not right here. See something, say something, right? just be careful. Just because we're 8,000 miles away in our comfy little home, worrying about nothing more troubling than a bunch of pansies from Antifa running around, 98-pound weakling running around going, look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah, there's people that have actual ill will. We need to watch this because very simply, this could be like anything else, like Ukraine could have been at the beginning of World War III. I mean, after all, if you go back, Nostradamus did say World War III would be begun by a man in a turban. You get an 86-year-old lunatic who's got very little left to live. He wants to cement his legacy. What's to say he doesn't order something stupid? Watch your surroundings, pay attention, stay armed. As hard as it is to say, trust nobody. And just prepare. Because if this goes hot, which I'd say it's a 50-50 shot at this point, it does, okay, that we're involved. We don't know what the ramifications are. My fear, more than anything else, is because China is allied with Iran. Russia, even though Russia's got their own problems at the moment. The last thing I want to see is two little pissant countries like Israel and Iran start World War III and a war between the United States and China. That's technically what we're looking at right now. That's the worst case scenario. But we're preppers. We prep for the worst and pray for the best. Pinball out.